Yo guys, Carman back with another review, and today we're going to be answering the question of, do B58 Bandits hype this engine up so much, or do they actually have a point? How are we going to do that? Well, I have this BMW M240i F22 with us today, and guys, this is not no ordinary M240i. The way you can tell an M240i from just a normal 2 Series is usually 3 things. It will have satin grey mirror caps, it will have no fog lights in the front bumper, and it will have a different set of alloys. This car has gone a step further and added an M2 comp bumper. We've also got the beautiful adaptive icon headlights. They look really nice in the night, and the owner's coded them to have the DRL indicators on. And we've got carbon fibre at the front, carbon fibre there, carbon fibre there. And if we move on to the brakes, you can see the front brakes have been upgraded. We've got vented, slotted discs, and that's wrapped around with the normal 18-inch alloys as mentioned before. If we move on to the rear of the car, we've got the beautiful LCI lights. Guys, obviously the LCI was basically the just little refresh that they did in 2017. If you got a pre-facelift, bun your GTS lights, it just looks tacky. Just keep it clean with the lovely LCI lights. Now guys, all of you eagle eye spotters will have noticed this very chunky exhaust. I can literally fit my fist in it. I can tell you that's not the standard size, and that's because this car has got the B58 Bandit treatment. Why don't we have a look at what that is? This is what all you lot rave on about, the B58, in particular the Gen 1 B58. Obviously Gen 2 is the one with the more hype around it, that's found in the Toyota Supras and the later BMW M240i's, but this is still a revised version, as this is an LCI model, so it's got newer injectors and new coil packs, I believe, as the early versions had a bit of issues with fueling. Could lead to potentially melted pistons. But in general, the B58 is a reliable engine, but that's not here what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what's been done. It's the classic BMW joke, email and a bit of pipe, and now it's making a lot more power. You see, this car has got a catless downpipe, custom exhaust, and potentially a stage 2 boot mod 3 flash. I'm not too sure what the actual tune is, but I'm pretty sure boot mod 3 is one of the most common tunes that you can get, and it's said to be making 480 brake horsepower and 600 Nm torque, which is very impressive considering the original car makes 340 brake horsepower and about 450 Nm torque. And that's paired with the 8-speed ZF, and that's driven to the rear wheels, as we know, both don't like it, but it's open diff. You can get an M Performance LSD as an optional extra, and I would highly recommend that, as you'll find out later on in the video. But for now, we might as well do a little sound check. So guys, what is the BMW M240i like to drive? And we're going to start things off in comfort, well, Eco Pro, because I'm a tight cunt. We're just going to be driving around the city, and just, obviously the main concept of the video is, it's all about the B58. So is the B58 a dailyable engine? Of course it is. That's what that's why it's in an M Light. And what, in case you don't know what an M Light is, obviously the M240i, it sits between the normal regular 2 Series and the full fat M2 comp. Now this is meant to give you a blend of sort of performance car slash a nice daily comfortable car to drive every day in. Now obviously it's not going to have the the fine honed precision of the M2 comp, but as a benefit, it's nice and supple. It's not too choppy with the ride. It's literally like driving a normal 2 Series, but the main focus is just you get the different engine. But the B58 itself kind of just shuts away. Look, right now we're in Eco Pro with the auto stop off. It's chilling. Even if I turn it back on, it's idle. Bear in mind, guys, this has a exhaust on it with catless downpipes, and it's it's idling just fine. Literally just waiting for this red light. But yeah, in terms of economy as well, too bad. Obviously, when you're stepping on it, it can be a little bit thirsty, but around town, expect maybe like 20 miles per gallon. So look, we're just gonna set off lightly. You know, there's just short shifts. That 8-speed ZF, I think that's the main sort of key component. You know, paired with the B58, it just slushes through the gears. You don't feel the gear shifts. You know, it's so smooth. It's literally such an effortless drive. You know, steering wheel's light with great visibility, especially with the 2 Series platform. Great visibility. Some people even argue the 2 Series has better visibility than what the 4 Series has to offer. And in terms of space, this cabin is very familiar. I haven't done an actual dedicated interior video for this because you can check out my review on the 330D, which is basically the same interior, same Pro Nav. The only thing is this has a sort of Alcantara dash custom fit on it, and it's iDrive 6 coded with some mini sounds. Ooh. But other than that, it's your regular F-Series interior, which is not a bad thing. We've got Harman Kardon, heated seats, you know, the lot. So can't complain. You know, in general, the M240i is definitely a great contender around town. So what is the M240i like on a spirited drive? Well, to find that out, we've got to flick it into manual, we've got DSC off, hold the button, there we go, fully off. Now, flick it down a paddle, 3k revs, and just let that open diff, there you go. So, that is the drawback of open diff. You are squabbling around for traction, especially with this upgraded amount of power, and today's roads are a bit damp and a bit muddy. So it definitely is a bit lively behind the wheel, but it's still somewhat manageable. You know, it's not too crazy, it's not too widowmaker. But yeah, man, I think what stands out with the M240i is obviously that power plant, that B58. You know, people rave on about this engine because of how punchy it is low down. Literally from 1800 revs, you've just got so much torque. It just wants to throw me off the bloody roads. Like it's almost diesel-like with the way it pulls. It just keeps on pulling and pulling. But then, because of all that low down torque, you find yourself short shifting. You know, I'm not saying the car doesn't like to rev out. You don't feel that rewarded revving it out. You know, you don't feel like it's that necessary. You know, you can always just short shift, and you can make really, really quick progress as we are making on these private roads. So there you go. Look, just constant wheel spin. As for the chassis itself, you guys have to remember the M240i is an M-Lite, therefore it's mainly just about the power plant rather than the suspension and the handling. But I will say it is still quite a neutral, balanced chassis, and obviously, you know, the ZF gearbox is quite responsive as well. It's not obviously going to be like an MDCT, but nonetheless, it's still a very quick, responsive and smooth gearbox. Got here a nice little camber, easy on the brakes. One thing, this car's got upgraded brakes, and it still does tend to fade after a little bit. The stock brakes on an M240 are horrendous. Definitely worthwhile an upgrade. And as you can tell, maybe from the vibrations and sort of, you know, moving around in the cabin, yeah, it's not the most planted thing in the world. You know, you just get that hunkered down feeling in an M2 comp, for example. You won't get that feeling in one of these. But at the end of the day, this, again, it has a plus side. You know, it's much more relaxed and much more sort of toned down when it comes to daily driving. But yeah, man, if you just use the ZF, especially if you get XHP map on these boxes, they can definitely feel even quicker. Yeah, guys, really fun. It's just that B58 popping and banging away, guys. Once you get an exhaust system on there, they really tend to open up. You know, again, look, downshift, it's giving me all the gears that I want. Follow it through. Front axle's relatively direct. Oh, what a car, guys, what a car. I think there's one thing left to do, and that is we need to launch it. So to launch one of these M240i's, you've got to put it in Sport Plus. So yeah, you do actually have to have traction halfway on, otherwise you're just going to do a fat burnout. Flick the gearbox into S1, mash the left foot brake really hard with your left foot obviously, and then mash the gas pedal. You can see launch control active. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Even in Sports Plus, guys, it's just spinning like crazy. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. But yeah, well, I'll be honest, this car is not your sort of launch control kind of car. It's more of your, you know, you go have a little bit of cheeky sideways action. If you're looking for a launch control kind of car, you're gonna go for an S3, you're gonna go for an RS3, Golf R, those kind of cars. Speaking of sideways action, obviously the BMW M240i, you know, it comes standard with open diff. You know, it's not an M car at the end of the day, so BMW know, you know, one of the biggest things to do would be to give it an LSD, which you can get as an optional extra, but not really. It's more of a dealer fitted option. You can get the M Performance LSD, but it is quite rare. So most of the M240s you're going to see on the market are in fact open diff. Now, does that mean, you know, the car is quite hindered in terms of getting sideways? No. You know, the car mainly struggles with the open diff when it comes to the straights and, you know, coming out of sort of 90-degree bends. But in general, a normal corner, if you were to give it, you know, a bit of flick and a bit of power, you know, you can still get it out relatively, pretty decently controlled, pretty adjustable with the throttle. So yeah, I mean, will you be amiss with the LSD? I definitely still do think yes, you will. There's just certain points where the open diff has that bit of inconsistency and therefore can be a little bit unpredictable in terms of entry and exit. But no, you can definitely go sideways in a stocked open diff M240i. So guys, what's my overall verdict on the BMW M240i and the B58 platform in general? I can't lie guys, you B58 bandits are going to be happy with this one. I'm a bit converted. The B58 itself is a very, very torquey engine, very great shove from low down. I think the focus is actually more on what the B58 is attached to. You know, it's obviously not a full fat M car, so obviously it's going to have compromised suspension, compromised diff, stuff, etc. But you know, if you remember how good the engine sounds, and just for a little bit of money, you know, what you can transform these into, you know, it certainly is bang for buck. I think that's what best sums up the B58. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe, and be sure to comment down below on what cars you'd like to see on the channel. But for now, I've been Carman Nab. Take care guys. Peace.